The GS1 Digital Link standard provides a way to web-enable barcodes where you can actually represent your data like your GTIN, batch, lot number, expiry date in a web URL or web address. There are a number of components that make up the GS1 Digital Link standard and a number of ways to implement it. As we are web-enabling GS1 identifiers encoded in barcodes, we have to provide a mechanism to point to a website. There are two ways to do this. Option 1 is where we can directly encode a web URL in a 2D barcode. This can only be done using either a QR code or data matrix using the GS1 Digital Link syntax or rules. Option 2 is when we cannot directly encode a GS1 Digital Link web URL in a barcode. All GS1 data carriers, including GS1 QR code and GS1 data matrix, cannot directly encode the GS1 Digital Link URL, and therefore this needs an application or program that can construct the GS1 Digital Link URL and then point to a website or web page. Once we have a mechanism to point to a website, we need to decide what website to point to. Again, there are two options. We can simply point to a page on a website, which will be the web address that is specified in the URL, and therefore you can only access one set of information. The second method is to point to what is referred to as a resolver. A resolver serves as a gateway to direct the inquiry to multiple sources of information. For example, recipe ideas, the product information page, where to buy locations, other languages. Using this option therefore has many benefits because users can access multiple sets of information rather than just one web page. This applies also to exchanges between applications. GS1 Global Office operates a resolver service that is available to member organisations who can in turn offer this as a service to their members. Please note, some member organisations, retailers, solution providers also operate resolver services. When pointing to a resolver, link types are used to determine what kind of information you're directing to. For example, you could direct to recipe information or where to buy a product. The information that can be accessed is referred to as linked data, and one of the great benefits in GS1 Digital Link is that this linked data does not need to be collated or stored in one location. Instead, it is simply linked together through GS1 Digital Link. This eliminates the need for duplication and therefore reduces errors and saves time. GS1 Digital Link is a standard that comprises a number of elements which enable GS1 identifiers to connect to the web and give access to information that is of benefit to consumers, patients, and brand owners alike.